What's going on there, YouTube world? Austin Lewis here, coming to you guys with the man, the myth, the absolute legend, Caleb Maddix here. Thanks for coming on here, bro. I appreciate you, dude. Yes, sir. For those of you guys that obviously follow me and are subscribed to the YouTube channel, obviously we just did a show with Caleb. You guys probably follow me on Instagram. If you haven't already, make sure and go follow me on Instagram.
What are you doing?
Yeah, come on.
Stop slacking.
Smash that like button. Drop in the comment section below what you guys think of this stud. And as well, make sure and go subscribe. But we just did an A&A show with this guy, absolute intelligent beyond his years. And I was like, bro, Caleb, we just gotta bring you on to like my personal channel because what you got going on, dude, is rolling, man. So
I appreciate it.
I'm excited, guys. This dude is 18 years old, and I don't say that to downplay how old he is, right? But to upplay on truly the human being that he's become. Obviously he's gonna share with you guys his story, what he's kind of got, how it even came about, where it even started, and ultimately what he's doing, right? So a lot of you guys are probably watching this right now being like, man, I don't even know who Caleb Maddix is. And so that's what I want you guys to stay tuned for, because Caleb Maddix is here. He's live. I can feel him. I can touch him. It's unbelievably wild. I can't believe I'm sitting next to this stud. So just definitely stay tuned because we're going to get into this.
Dude, we're in the office too, bro.
Yeah.
Got my man Austin here. We got Coda behind the camera. She's killing it.
Killing it.
So we're having a good time, man.
That's right. We're going to have a lot of commotion going on here, but I kind of like that, man.
That's what, you said that beforehand. I was like, dude, it's not just us two in the office.
Yeah.
So if someone comes up, they say hi, like, we're just kind of hanging out.
It is
here,
what
so
it is.
Good.
Yep, I
You're
love
here
it.
with us.
So many people like to be so perfect on YouTube, and I've noticed that.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean? And honestly, like me, like my edits, if you watch some of my videos, they're not the greatest. I literally tell my filmmakers or my editors that are editing that video, I'm like, if I mess up, if I ramble, if I do something like that, just keep it in the video.
Yeah.
Because I want it to be real. I want it to be authentic.
Well, I feel like influencers create their life around their content.
Yeah.
But celebrities, like people that have real influence, world influencers, not social media influencers, they create their content around their life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In your life, like when me and Austin are having a conversation off camera, it's not perfect, right?
Yeah.
We're just chopping up, we're having fun. And like I notice a lot of times I'll have conversations with people and we'll go deep and we're having good combos and like we're messing up a little bit. We're just human to human. But then the camera turns on, it's like a whole different thing. And like what's cool is like literally if it wasn't recording, we'd have no clue.
Yeah.
So we're just rolling, man.
Real, raw, and authentic, man. So I just want to kind of get into your story, Caleb. I want to, obviously 18 years old, started this when you were 14?
Wrote my first book at 13.
13.
Yeah.
So wrote his first book at 13. I mean, I can't even write.
That was the start of it, man.
At 24. I can't write at 24.
Here's people, because people are like, dude, you've written 9 books. Like, well, let me clarify. I'm the author of 9 books. Because people always, they call me a writer. I'm not a writer. I'm an author. There's a difference. Yeah. Being a writer is not my main talent. No. But having content and sharing messages, that is, and sometimes I put that into word form, and they came out in books. So
I like that. So what? I mean, obviously, tell people a little bit about your upbringing, right?
Yeah.
You talked about it on the A&A show. Your dad's a stud. You were just installed with, beautiful knowledge at such a young age. Like, tell people where that actually stemmed from, where it came from, and how much of that actually dictates to where it is that you're at currently today.
I really feel like one of the number one things, and we talk about this a decent amount in the A&A show, so I'm excited to dive even deeper into it.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some fun, bro. So, like for me, I really believe that the person that's hungriest to learn will always be fed the most results. And like, at the end of the day, your hunger to learn and what you learn is gonna dictate who you are. Like I know Austin, like he doesn't just know what he knows about business because he knows what he knows. Like no one's born that way. Like, even if you look at someone as great as Michael Jordan, he wasn't born bouncing a basketball knowing exactly how to go under his legs. Like it's something that he learned. And for me, I was very privileged because my dad made a decision. People always say, Caleb, you grew up with a silver spoon in your mouth. That wasn't the case. And in fact, when I was like 7 years old, I lived in a Sunday school room with my dad. His car got repossessed, so we literally had to bike ride everywhere. So like I didn't grow up with a lot of money. I didn't have that handed to me. But what I did have handed to me was knowledge, which is honestly, which I believe is
worth
even
more
important. Because like that's why now I have the money that I have. And something my dad did when I was 7 years old that was very strategic and literally changed everything about my life is I went over to a friend's house. And at my friend's house, we were both on the couch playing video games. And his mom came up to him, tapped him on the shoulder, and handed him a green piece of paper with the number 20 on it. And as a kid, once again, when you get $20, bro, that's like $1 million, right? You're excited about it. So I see the $20. I'm like, dude, what'd you do to get that $20? I want to know how can I make some money as well. And he said he did these things, groundbreaking concept called chores. All right, if he took out the trash, if he did the dishes, he did the laundry, if he did that throughout the month, at the end of the month, he would get paid $20. And I was furious. I'm like, Austin, bro, I'm already doing chores. I'm taking out the trash, I'm doing the dishes, I'm doing all that stuff, but I wasn't getting paid for it. So next time I see my dad, I'm like, Dad, I want to get paid to do chores. And he said something, this one decision changed my life forever. He said no. is I'm not going to pay you chores because that's not what you're going to get paid for whenever you're older, unless you want to become a trash man, which I know isn't your aspiration. So he didn't pay me to chores, but he said, you know what I will pay you for? What you are going to get paid for when you're older, and that's what you know. So from that moment forward, he started paying me $20 for every single business book that I would read and personal development book I would read. And like at a young age, I started reading those books. And although Cody's shaking up the camera, she said the content's so good, we got to shake it up a little bit. I like it.
We got to make sure we're still on camera. Are we still even?
We're rolling, right? It looks good. Noah's got us too. But for me, like at a young age, reading those books, although I wasn't handed money, my dad giving me those books and having me read that stuff is why at my age now I've made the money I made. And you know, a lot of people, they don't understand that. They see me, I made my first $1 million by 16. Now I have a company that's evaluated between 15 and $30 million, and people are like, it had to have been luck. It wasn't luck, it's what I learned. And like that's the real difference. I feel like that's what separates winners from losers at the end of the day.
I like that, man. And I mean,
winners learn from winners.
That's right. And knowledge is power.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, you know what I mean? If it's the right knowledge, obviously. And so I think that's huge and tremendous. I'm pushing, guys, drop in the comment section below. I'm really pushing for this dude. Obviously what he's done, what he's built is literally incredible. 100,000 individuals inside Apex for Kids.
Correct, yeah.
Which is literally insane. I mean, 100,000 feels larger than a football stadium. I mean, that's literally nuts. You know what I mean? Like, that feels like 2 or 3 football stadiums, depending on obviously the stadium. But I love like the mentality, right? Like obviously Caleb grew up with his dad and your mom, correct, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, you know, his dad was installed into his brain. You know, the subconscious mind is the most powerful thing that you can have, the 6 inches between your ears. That's what I always heard as a kid was like, hey man, the 6 inches between your ears is the most expensive real estate you could ever own. And obviously I didn't really understand that at the time because I was like, it's not about what I know, it's about who I know. But then at the same time, it's like, man, if you're filled with that good knowledge, what you're able to say creates actions, and actions create results.
The truth is, the fact that we have the human mind is literally like, that's our #1 asset. You know what I mean? I feel like if you look at someone like Jeff Bezos, who's worth over $100 billion, like he's worth that, but guess what he has? He has a human mind. Everything else in his life has been created from that exact same human mind. And so many times people think like, my human mind isn't as good as other people. But the truth is, you just haven't built your mind to be that way yet. And that's really the way I look at it. Is like, people always think they're born a certain way. But the truth is, your mind's like a blank canvas. And whatever you input into it, whatever you put into your mind is what it's going to be. And so, like for me, I was never born knowing how to make money. But because I read certain books about it, I learned certain things. And like, you guys are watching things like this. You guys are already off on the right track, which is fantastic news. Like that's going to cause you to have that. Like, for example, one thing that I always tell people is they ask me, how do you have financial freedom? Financial freedom isn't the amount of money in your bank account. Like if you took away all the money I have right now, you put me back to ground zero. What I know about making money still has me to have financial freedom because I can get it all back. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of people, they want the money and they think that's when they have financial freedom. True financial freedom is the skill set of knowing how to make money. And I feel like actually we can go kind of just jump on that real fast. Like if you're just starting out, my #1 advice to you would be obsess on finding a skill set that makes you money. Like for example, my business partner Ryan, right? He's grossed $50 million online, right? He did the biggest launch in internet marketing history. Did $30 million from that one internet marketing launch. But the real reason why he did that is because he got the skill set of knowing how to market. And because he has that skill set of knowing how to market, he knows how to make money with that thing. And if you took all of his money from him, he can launch something and like that make $100,000 week 1. And it's because of what he put in his mind. It's like real financial freedom isn't what you have in your bank, it's what you have in your head.
Yeah, that's insane. I love that. And I honestly, I'll share this with you guys too. And obviously Caleb can have some outside conversations on this, but I've kind of done it a little bit backwards, and I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the online world, right? You know, 100,000 individuals inside of Apex for Kids is insane. You had to reach those people some way, shape, or form. You got viral on Facebook with a couple of videos, which is tremendous. I've never been on viral on anything.
You're close, bro.
Yeah, we're there. So, you know, and honestly, that's what we've done the opposite. Like I've done the opposite of that. I haven't gone online. I haven't done, you know, obviously massive social media numbers, YouTube, Instagram, yes, but I've done it like the different way of things. I've built the businesses that are belly to belly, the traditional. I mean, we're inside of our 5,000 square foot office. I haven't ran the ads. I haven't done the programs and things like that. We have ATM Mastery, which is our course, which honestly I'm excited for because we met with the real deal guy. His name's Dustin actually. And we're gonna start running ads to the course. I've never ran an ad to the course, man. Bro. You know what I mean? And we've sold, you know, over 1,000 of those courses just based off of, you know, just belly to belly.
That's impressive.
Yeah, but I'm excited to kind of transition to the online world because a good mentor of mine, a good coach of mine, not really a mentor, but a coach is what I like to call him, a life coach. He said, Austin, you guys.
What's the difference between a coach and mentor to you?
That's an interesting question. I think a coach is somebody that gives you constructive criticism, and I think a mentor is somebody that gives you constructive criticism, and a coach is somebody that gives you constructive guidance.
Interesting.
I think there's two totally different things inside of constructive criticism and constructive guidance. I think constructive guidance, subconsciously, whether people think or not, is way more effective than constructive criticism. Just because of the way that the mind works. And so that's what I think the difference between a mentor and a coach is. And he said, man, you guys can make millions of dollars belly to belly business, but he's like, you guys are capped at that right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can reach a lot of people, which we have, right? But he's like, you can only reach so much.
Yeah.
And you're gonna feel like you're on a Ferris wheel every single day. And so he's like, man, but if you guys transition to the online world and start actually doing and putting your full potential out there, he's like, you guys will be able to make hundreds of millions of dollars. But more importantly, you guys will be able to impact more people.
One of the cool things about online is it allows you to scale yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like what I used to do is I used to do these one-on-one coaching calls with kids, right? And I would go through for like weeks and weeks with them. I'd talk to them one-on-one. I would tell them all these things. And I always noticed the things that I was telling them would be the exact same things for every person across the board.
Yeah.
So then I was like, why don't I just create something where I share those things, but instead of me being the one that's like one-on-one with them, there's just a bunch of videos that entertain them, that coach them through it, that have them walk through this process. And then that's why we're able to have 100,000 students. So literally this morning, thousands of kids will wake up and will be literally being quote unquote coached by me. I don't usually use that word, but we'll use it for this because you brought it up. It's like they'll be getting coached by me. And like I'm not talking to a single one of them. Like that's what's cool about online. It allows you to scale yourself, which I think is really interesting. And that's what was exciting for me, is because like before I ever got started, I would be making sales calls. I'd be doing one-on-one calls with people, coach. But like online allowed me to be able to, if I have a minute-long message I want to share, I would be able to be filmed that, and literally at sometimes it would reach 40 million people, that single message. I could never do that in my lifetime. So that's really cool. And if you have had success outside of that, going online, that's a very easy process to get there. You can scale yourself easily.
Yeah. So here's one thing I do got a question. I got to ask you this actually on camera is, one issue that we've struggled with is the systems and processes when it comes to online. But even more about that, and again, this just comes back to scale, is when I can sit down with somebody, I charge 10 grand.
Yeah.
Versus an online course, I charge $300. What are your thoughts on that?
So what exactly is the question like with that? Because like,
do you think that do you devalue yourself by having something for the masses versus having that one-on-one?
I don't think you devalue yourself if you still offer the one-on-one, if like you feel like you need that one-on-one to give people results. But I don't think you devalue yourself, because like even for example, Russell Brunson, you know Russell Brunson?
Absolutely.
So he's a really, really close mentor of mine. We use the word mentor, right?
Yeah.
He's a really, really close mentor of mine, and I've actually coached his kids a lot, and they've read my books and all that stuff. And it's funny because one of his sons actually said to Russell, he's like, because he goes to school with this kid who his dad's like this big plastic surgeon that does all these insane surgeries, and actually not even plastic surgeon, he's just a normal surgeon, and like it'll be life or death situations that he'll be like operating on people. And so his son, Russell's son, asked me, he's like, how do you Dad, how do you make way more than my friend's dad, who if he messes up, this person dies, but you're just coaching people on making money? Like he's like a young kid, he just doesn't get it yet. And he's like, and Russell kind of laughs, he chuckles, he thinks it's funny. And he said the reason why though is because he can only operate on one person, but I'm able to help 200,000 entrepreneurs every single day because it's not me. So I feel like, yes, maybe you're devaluing a little bit, but then if you take what you're teaching the one-on-one and you figure out a way to systematize it, it's not devaluing yourself. What it is it's expanding the amount of people you can provide value to. That's kind of the way that I think about it.
I love that. So just tell the viewers that are listening right now what your current life looks like. You know, obviously you're still pushing Apex for Kids, I would imagine. You know, what new things are you launching? How are you launching it? What is your team built up of? And really, what is your, obviously I think goal setting is an interesting thing. It's an interesting topic to talk about, but what are your, like, I don't know, short-term goals, right? Caleb Maddix, 18 years old, you know, you can't even buy some cigarettes in the state of Arizona. I think that's all over right now, currently actually. You know, they changed that law.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they changed it. You can't smoke no more at 18. You can only do it at 21 now.
Dang, well, that delayed it. The moment I turned 18, man.
Yeah, right? So what is that? What does Caleb Maddix's life look like right now?
Dude, honestly, I feel like I'm in a game, and my goal is by the time I'm done with this game to have changed the way that all 8 billion other people play it.
I love it.
And honestly, that perspective on life is causing me to play a different game than a lot of people. And if I told you everything about my vision, there's a good chance you would think I'm like insane. And I really mean that. Like a lot of people are like, what's your financial goals? Like I'm not even thinking about that. Like I do want to be eventually once again, like let's go and say it on camera. I want to be a trillionaire.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if I really want to actually change the way 8 billion people live, that's how many resources I'm gonna need for that.
Yeah.
But like for me, a lot of people, like for example, whenever I first met Arnold Schwarzenegger, I was asking him, first thing I ever asked him was like, dude, what's your best piece of advice for me?
Yeah.
I was at his house and I was just looking him in the eyes, and by the way, he's like these fiery eyes, just unbelievable. Like you look at him in the eyes, and you're just like, whoa, like I gotta listen to every word he says. Like he didn't have to say a word. Like it's not even because he's Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like if I met him on the street, I'd be like, this dude's different.
Yeah.
So I sit down, I'm on my knee. He's in this big old chair like this, and he's actually smoking a cigar.
Yeah.
And I'm at his house, and I'm on my knee, and I look at him in the eyes. I said, what's your best advice for me? And he said 2 words that honestly, when I first heard it, I was massively disappointed. He goes, dream big. And dude, I was livid, okay?
Yeah.
Now I was livid because, not because it's not good advice, but it's like the most generic. I'm like, dude, I could have gone on Pinterest and found this quote, right? Like this is Arnold Schwarzenegger, I need some deeper stuff than this.
Yeah.
He's like, no, dude, dream big. And I'm like, Mr. Schwarzenegger, do you mind to expound on that?
Yeah.
He's like, Caleb, when I was younger, my dreams were so big that my parents hired a psychiatrist to work on my brain because they thought something was wrong with it. And it's like, you look at someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger, who literally was the governor of California, the best bodybuilder to ever live, one of the highest paying actors of all time, that grew up in, I believe, Austria, came from literally nothing and built all the way up. And it's like, how did he get here? But literally as a kid, he saw so clearly in his head the vision that to other people, he literally seemed insane. And I think it's the exact same way for me is like, I can tell you I want to build him is like literally my entire goal for my life is to shift the way that the entire earth operates. Because I look at the system like, and one of the things I want to do in my lifetime is I want to completely change the school system, but that's not even really my goal. The real goal is to create a new system for living. Like that's the real goal at the end of the day. And like, it's funny because I say this now and a lot of people, they don't understand where I'm coming from, but I know this will be documented literally 80 years from now. Like, when that happens, it's gonna be cool for people to look back on. It's because like I see that so clear. So everything in my day goes towards that. But it's weird because I have this giant vision, but it's like, how do I progress to that now? Like, how do I get there now? This year, the plan is we're launching 3 apps. And because we got to 100,000 students in Apex, and the goal was like, listen, we can try to rewire millions of adults' minds, or we can wire them right from the start when they're kids. And that seems like a lot more simple thing. Like, you can say one sentence to a kid. That would change their life more than an entire book would to an adult, because that's how moldable they are. So we got to 100,000 students in like the most insane testimonies. Literally, I've launched so many things in my life. I've had viral videos. This is by far the most impactful thing that like I've ever produced with my business partner, Ryan. And now the question is, how do we go from 100,000 students to 100 million? Like, how do we get to 100 million kids? So we're launching 3 apps this year that we believe is going to get us to 100 million kids versus at the 100,000 student mark that we're at now. So that's the full focus. But in the interim, while that's getting developed, the one goal is to collect like as much capital as possible. Like for me, I genuinely love money. Like I love money because I noticed the more money I have, the more that I can provide the actual solutions that I come up with to the world. Like ideas are empty without the resources to execute them. So my entire goal, while the app is in development, is like, how can I accumulate as much resources as possible? Like I'm talking hundreds of millions of dollars by the time this stuff comes out, so that I can throw that back towards the solutions that we have and get those out of the world. So like right now, I'm in something called Money Mode March. And literally, we're in March right now. Like the goal is the entire focus this month. Because usually my life has not been centered around purely making money. It's been centered around coming up with solutions and trying to figure out the best path.
Problem solving.
We're so clear now with the path, with some solutions that we're gonna be providing. The main thing is we have all these solutions. We don't have the resources to get them. So the main focus now is every single morning of the entire March, I'm just waking up and me and my business partner are like, how do we collect more money and more resources? And that's the current focus.
That's huge.
That's the life right now.
And how much would you say of your current mindset, your current thinking process, obviously, have read books, have 9 books?
I've written 9 books, yeah.
You're the author of 9 books. How much of those books that you read when you were a younger individual have currently impacted you today?
Dude, all of them.
What are your top couple?
Here's how I say, like, a lot of people, they're looking for an output, right? They want this outcome, let's say. So they want to be a millionaire. They want to be in shape. They always want these outputs, whatever it might be. Real great people don't focus on the output. They focus on the input. The input that creates the output. Like I really look at life like a conveyor belt. And if you put money on this part of the conveyor belt, the input part, it's gonna go through the machine. On the other side, it's gonna output more money. If you put trash on the conveyor belt and the input trash, it's gonna output more trash. And it's the same thing in life. It's like what you input determines what you output and what you get. It's like if you look at someone like one of the greatest football players ever. Look at someone like Tom Brady, right? He went to Michigan, go blue, by the way. Shout out to Michigan. I'm a diehard Michigan fan. And you look at Tom Brady Tom Brady's just a normal dude, but he put tens of thousands of hours of inputs, what he input into his body, what he learned, the actions he took, the people he was around, the coaches he had, the way he lived his life, and that input created the output of being the greatest football player ever, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
If you look at someone like Jeff Bezos, for example, Jeff Bezos never said, I want the output of having the number one company in the world. That wasn't his goal.
No.
He didn't say, I want the output of being the wealthiest person in the world. That wasn't his goal. He said, what's the input? And he realized the number one company in the world is going to be the most customer-centric company in the world. The company that focuses the most on the customers is going to get the output of being the number one company. So he looked at the input and he said, with my team, I'm not saying let's strive to be the number one company in the world. He said, let's strive to be the most customer-centric company in the world. So he focused on the input and it got that output. And that's how I've looked at my life. So like, how much has it contributed to me? Every single input of my life is contributed 100% to the output that I have now. And like, as far as some of the books, the first ever book I read was called The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. And literally the first chapter changed my life. It's called Taking Full Responsibility. And if that was the only concept I got from that book, it would have been the most ROI positive 2 hours of my entire life. So like, whenever my dad started paying me $20, what's funny is that book's like, I don't know, 400 pages long or something like that. And it literally took me 6 months to read because I was 7 years old. So like I make $20 in 6 months. So like, I didn't even make as much as kids doing chores. And after that, believe it or not, a lot of things I don't share about the story, that was the only book my dad ever paid me the $20 for. Because after I was done reading The Success Principles, I literally said, you know what? I don't need to get paid anymore. Like the knowledge is what I'm getting paid. At the age of 7, it changed my life that much. So he only did that once. Like he got that to incentivize me. He was going to continue to do it. I was like, Dad, I don't want the money. What I'm learning is the reward. And I feel like that's another thing. A lot of times, like people need to understand the knowledge is the reward. You know what I mean? A lot of times people, they'll learn something to get an outcome. But when you're so curious that that knowledge is what you like, is the reward, it's where you get your dopamine from, it's what you're excited for. Like for me, if I discover something new about business, even if it doesn't produce $10 million right away, just me knowing that.
It's the dopamine.
It is the knowledge, exactly, it is the dopamine. So there's so many different books. The first one was Success Principles, and then, man, dude, I've read so many books, I've watched so many things. I like, people, they always ask me like, what book should I read? I'm like, dude, honestly, books are like medicine. It's like if you go to a doctor and say, what medicine should I have? It's like, well, what problem do you have? Is your knee messed up? Like what's going on? You have a cold? Like what is it that you have? And it's like, people always want to know what's the best book. My question would be, what is your end outcome? Where do you want to go? What do you want to accomplish? Like, what's your vision? And then ask yourself, what do I need to learn? Who do I need to be in order to get there? And then you learn things about that thing. I feel like that's the best way to go about it.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. That's wild. That's powerful, dude. Holy cow. I wish I had this knowledge when I was 18. I'm not even going to lie to you, dude. You know what I mean? I was smoking weed. I was drinking alcohol. I was doing all the stuff that you shouldn't have been doing at 18 years old, man. So this cat will be a billionaire by 25.
But bro, you switched up your inputs though. Like if you look at the Apple, like I come into your office, I see the team you have, I see, just the way it's set up. You have such a cool lifestyle now. And it's like, I asked you like what's your day look like? And so like, if you look at your inputs, that's why you have your output. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's the thing, people are like, oh, I wish I would have had the same inputs as you, Caleb. You're lucky. It's like, I didn't have the same inputs.
Change it.
You know what I mean? Change your inputs.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. I think what people, or what I found myself doing when I was younger of not getting the results that I was looking for, it was because the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Like that was me, you know what I mean? I was always wondering, I was always the why guy. Why is it happening to me? Why is it not going that way for me? Why is this business, a little bit slower than the other businesses, etc., right? But that was always a reaction. There was almost like it was a pullback in a sense versus this is happening to me for a reason. You know what I mean? Like this is happening to me because of what I'm going to be getting. You know what I mean? And if that didn't happen to me, if that struggle didn't happen, right? 4 years of network marketing, never making any money, but traveling the world and reinvesting back into myself, I never knew why. I never knew what the output was going to be, but I was doing the input. You know what I mean?
That's the truth.
And that is essentially what changed my results.
And I feel like a lot of people talk about goal setting. By the way, I believe knowing where you're going is it's probably the most vital part of the component. So I would never be against knowing where you're going to go. I think that's part like a reason why a lot of people don't get what they want out of life is because they don't know what they want out of
they're
life.
On a Ferris wheel. They're just doing it every day like it's every day expecting something to change.
How do you I feel like a Ferris wheel makes it sound too cool. Like I love Ferris wheel. It's more like a hamster wheel, man. Like you're not a Ferris wheel. Like and I feel like the reason people don't get what they want out of life is they don't know what they want out of life. So I'd say that's number one. But even if you don't know, just focus on the input.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, say you don't know what your output is currently. Like, just focus on what's the input.
Yeah.
To where if I do this every day, it's inevitable. Like, if you don't ever say I want a six pack, but every single day you eat the right foods and work out, eventually you're gonna have a six pack, whether you set that output or not.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of times you need the output in order to motivate you to have the discipline to put in the inputs.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, inputs is really what matters. If people are so focused on the output, the goals, like really ask yourself, what are the inputs? And this is a beautiful part about life. And a lot of people are like, man, that means everything's my fault. But if you look at it the right way, that means everything's your fault. Like that's the best feeling. It gives you the ultimate power, because if anything in your life you don't like,
you can get it.
You look at the output. You just change the inputs. Like I look at this thing, I hate it. Well, what's the input that's causing this thing? You know what I mean? I'm overweight. Well, I hate this thing. What's the input? Now you have control over that. If you hate the output so much, like it being your fault is the best thing ever, because it means you're now in control and can change that thing.
Yeah, that's huge, man. That's crazy. Because what most people don't realize is, if you can get yourself into it, you can also get yourself out of it.
Wow, I like that.
You know what I mean?
I like that.
And that's a different way of thinking and programming your subconscious mind. If you can get yourself into it, you can also get yourself out of it. Caleb, obviously, what is that one thing right now that is actually, you've made millions of dollars, right? You've impacted hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people's lives currently right now, right? What is that one thing that is currently driving you to work as hard? I mean, guys, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta tell you something. This cat works harder than any other person I've ever met in my entire life. And I thought I worked hard, bro. You know what I mean? I mean, this guy will text me a voice message at 2:30 in the morning, completely fired up. I'm an old man, I'll be honest with you. I fall asleep at 10.
Dude, I don't know what he's always talking about. I'm always up. Man. This man's young.
I'm up at 4:30, 5 o'clock because my girlfriend is dragging me out of bed. But, that's just how
that's what you need. I respect that.
That's what I'm saying. But at 2:30, you're sending me a voice message fired up. What is driving you, bro?
People act like, dude, you've already impacted millions of people. What drives you? It's the fact that I haven't impacted billions. Like, if I died right now, although I changed a lot of people's lives, I haven't changed the system that ruined them in the first place. And I feel like, to me, my life, I can impact a lot of people, but if when I'm gone, that impact stops. Even though it is awesome because I impacted millions of people's lives, it's still hollow. So for me, my goal is I want to change the inputs of society, and I haven't even gotten nearly close to that. I've changed the inputs of millions of people, but I haven't changed it of billions of people and changed the root cause. Like for me, what motivates me is that I haven't done anything yet. You know what I mean? If your goal is to make $1 million and you make $1,000, like you made $1,000, you made money. Like why? It's like, but I want to make $1 million. It's the same thing for me. Like if you impact millions of people's lives, why are you more motivated? Still motivated? It's like because I haven't impacted billions. That's been my goal since I was 7 years old. So it's the exact same thing. And the same thing with like even money. It's like, for me, I know what I want to build, and the reason why I'm so hungry to make more money is because that's a tool. And like I know right now I am the thing limiting myself. Like if I was a billionaire, all the solutions I have could already have been implemented. So like for me, it's racing towards that moment to where I have that level of power.
That's huge, man. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Caleb Maddix here. If you guys want to find out some more, go watch the A&A show. It's a little bit longer than this. Actually, I don't know how long this was, but this was solid.
We're just vibing, man.
I can't give you guys too much information. I'm not gonna lie, okay? Where you guys can find this guy is in my link in the description below. Caleb Maddix's Instagram handle will be below. Do you want them to have a YouTube of some sort?
Oh, my YouTube?
Yeah.
Throw it in there.
Throw it in there. Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys want to go to Caleb Maddix's YouTube, his link will be in the description below. What I want you guys to do is I want you guys to shoot him a DM on Instagram. They'll DM you, bro.
Bro, I believe it. Shoot me a DM. I would love that.
Shoot me a DM. Tell them where you guys came from. And if you guys haven't already, make sure to go like this video, man, because we're monetized, bro. We're going to blow this video up. I'm telling you, this video is going to go viral.
Dude, if you can't click the button, how do you expect to win?
That's right.
That's all I'm saying.
100%. Ladies and gentlemen, go subscribe. Austin Lewis here with Caleb Maddix. Make sure and shoot him a DM on Instagram. Comment section below what you guys would like to see in future videos. We'll see you guys in the other one.